Ready when you are, Butch. Hello, my name is Frank Odaz with Lone Eagle Consulting. I'm here in the Metlakatla Indian community with Janet Margaret Guthrie, an elder who's going to share with us a bit of her perceptions of the traditional culture, what life was like back when she was young, and what issues there are that she would like to share, advice, etc. And one of the interesting things that's happening this weekend is a traditional potlatch. And Janet, could you tell us a little bit about what is a traditional potlatch?
Well, I think it's, I really don't know too much on our culture because that was taken away from us when Christianity came. All the culture, our language, everything. Now it's just coming back these last few years. Our language, like my brother speaks Tsimshian, but I don't because my family didn't teach me. You know? They were forbidden to speak their language. But I think with this potlatch, it brings together all the tribes, and they can see what each tribe does in their community. And I think that's a plus for our young students, and to have respect for one another. That's the main thing. That has to come back to our people, you know.
So when you were young, native language was prohibited,
Yeah.
is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
There's-
culture was very limited because
yeah.
of Christianity at
Yeah.
that time.
It was taken away from our pioneers. They couldn't speak it or practice the culture, you know.
That must have been very difficult. So.
Yeah. And what I see is in the students now is how much our students are getting educated, which, like my mother, she never went to school. The only thing she could do was sign her name, you know. And as time goes on, that school came about, now the high school is here. There was no high school here. Just went up to 8th grade. Now there are students who are going to college and graduating, and some of our students that graduated are teachers here in school here, which is a plus for us.
Well, this school sure has a lot of technology, more technology than most schools in Alaska. How do you feel about this digital generation that's growing up?
I like it. I don't know anything about it, but I like it. I'm from the old school. I worked 38 years for the elderly program. I never had a computer. Somebody donated a computer to me, and I told him it doesn't work, and he said, plug it in.
Oh.
So I really don't know too much about about that, but I could see it with the young folks, you know.
Now, youth retention is something of an issue and an opportunity with this technology. Do young people tend to move away to find work, or I understand with this new internet and broadband that there may be opportunities to keep youth in the village, working for global corporations, or even becoming entrepreneurs to market their cultural art to the world while living and working right here in Metlakatla.
That would be wonderful, because most of my children had to move away to find work, you know. And hopefully in the near future, we'll have all what you're saying for our younger people, younger adults. But my children, they had to go find jobs, you know, but they're slowly coming back. I can see it in the home, which is a plus for my family.
Well, I can sure understand that with older young families being able to come back if they can find work, that it'd be wonderful to have the kids back again.
Mm-hmm.
Did the early days have a more cohesive community where people were caring for one another and felt closer bonds, or would you say things are closer and more caring now, or back when you were young?
I think back. That's how I feel. You know, when I was young, there was no TV, no phone. You know, and when it was time to go home, the police would patrol and make sure all the kids went home. It was different back then. You know, they were really strict with the young people.
Well, I had heard that when television was introduced, that many of the cultural gatherings ceased to be as popular as watching All in the Family at a friend's house.
Yeah.
But, well, go ahead.
Well, I see Potlatch coming back here to Metlakatla. It's slowly coming back. Not the way other communities have it all the time. This is the first Potlatch for a long time.
Really?
Which
How,
is
how
a-
long has it been since the last one?
Several years, I think.
Several
And
years.
David Boxley is on, if I'm correct in that.
Yes, I understand David Boxley has helped some dance troops get going.
Yeah,
And some language resurgence in
Yeah.
past years.
He did that in Seattle.
Uh-huh.
And he had a big group that started the Tsimshian dance group, and they traveled all over. You know, he started that, and it's growing here in Metlakatla. And I could see it when they dance. You have little children, which makes me happy. You know, that's how they're going to learn.
That's right.
If they get involved.
Yes, we just came from a dancing session where a 2-year-old stole the show, I think.
I
huh?
know.
She was
Yeah.
mighty cute, yes.
Uh-huh.
You bet. Well, I see a lot of youth with cell phones, and it seems like that has the potential for helping people draw a bit closer together.
Yeah.
Do you see that as a positive influence or somewhat neutral, or do you have a smartphone?
I have a cell phone.
Okay,
I use it once in a while,
okay.
but not often. You know, not the way I see these younger ones. Gee, the little children are using all these technologies.
Using
It's-
cell
it's
phones?
wonderful, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I've been learning about smartphones from my 3-year-old granddaughter. She shows me how to play Touch the Duck on an iPhone, and I heard a recommendation from an elder the other day that we should have a technology class for elders here at the high school,
That would be
and cover smartphones, and maybe even have the elementary kids show elders how to use iPads.
Beginners, that's
Yeah.
where I'd have to be.
Well,
Yeah.
elementary kids are a little advanced,
I know.
but wouldn't that be fun to have instructors that are preschool?
Yeah, yeah, my great-grandchildren, you know, would have to teach me. And it's wonderful that this is all going on. They're learning, so they would, when they go out in the world, they'll know, you know.
They'll be global citizens.
Yes.
They'll be able to preserve their culture and take it with them wherever
Yeah.
they go, but also be able to keep in touch with family. And I understand many of the Tsimshian Nation are not living in Metlakatla, perhaps for some of the reasons you cited with the lack of employment.
Yeah,
Work.
Well,
So they're all over, but now they can have cell phones and even two-way video via their cell phone to keep in touch with friends and family.
yeah, that's right.
Well, would you have any words of wisdom for this next generation, this first digital generation, as to what of the traditional values of the Tsimshian Nation you'd recommend that they take with them as they move forward?
I am hoping that they would keep up with the Potlatches and learn the culture of the Tsimshian, bringing it alive again.
Bringing
You
it
know,
alive
and,
again.
respect. That is the most important one, for our students to respect other people. I think they would go a long way if they do.
Well, those do sound like words of wisdom, and we look forward to a full day of potlatch activities tomorrow.
It's gonna be fun.
And we'll hope the next one isn't as long as it was for this one to come along.
Yeah, tomorrow's Laverne's memorial, and I knew her quite well. She was a dear friend.
Well, tell us a bit about Laverne, since the potlatch is in her honor tomorrow, and people are coming from all over to honor her memory.
She, I was the director of the elderly senior citizens, and she'd come every day, always there with a friendly face, and she was such a kind soul. She was a good lady, and I really cared for her.
A model Tsimshian, caring for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Janet.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, that wasn't so bad, was it?
No, you did great. You've
Hear
done
my-
this
You hear
before,
my
huh?
Tsimshian. I don't want to hear myself.
Probably have some more, but
Okay. So I'm ready when you are. Hello, I'm Frank Odaz of Lone Eagle Consulting here in the Metlakatla Indian community in southeast Alaska. I'm here with Vivian Guthrie Benson, who's a noted artist and craftsperson in Metlakatla. And I'd like to ask her, what is it that you do and why?
I do weaving in cedar bark, that's red and yellow cedar, raven scale. It's textile weaving, and a little bit of chill cat. I do regalia making. I do the button robes, dresses, aprons.
What is chill cat, I have to ask?
Chill cat is also a textile, and it's done with. Sorry, it's done with. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No, that's all right. We can edit out pauses.
Yeah,
Okay,
just,
thank
just,
you.
yeah, gather your thoughts and then come on. Yeah.
So what is chill cat?
It's a textile weaving, and it's not geometrical, but it's designs that's incorporated. The designs that you see back here is actually done by hand. It's hand woven, and it basically it takes a while for it to become a form, like in an apron or a tunic. There's robes that can be done, the headdress, and different designs. The design on it has to be done, cohesively with a person that can do out the patterns as well as the weaver, because you have to work closely in order to make that design come out on the pattern.
So you're preserving your culture through this means of expressing the traditional arts of the Tsimshian culture?
Yes.
Do you sell your work?
I do. If I'm commissioned, I do self-work, but it's not, I don't go out and actively do it. It's usually by word of mouth.
By word of mouth. So e-marketing would not necessarily be a need for you. Have you been to national shows?
I've gone to Phoenix, Arizona, and there's a juried art show there at the Heard Museum, and I've been back there about 5 years. First year I took third place with one of my cedar bark baskets. The second year there I took second place, also with a basket. And the third year back I took first place. And the fourth year back was, I took first place as well as best of show.
Wow, that's outstanding. Are you or others teaching these art forms here in the community of Metlakatla?
I not myself am not teaching. My kids are around me enough so they ask questions, and if they're interested or show interest, I teach them. And they've been around it enough to understand the techniques that I'm doing. So, but each one of them have come out with me to pull cedar and process it, so each one of my kids know how to harvest it.
I see. What's your perception of the current digital generation and their orientation toward culture? Do you see cultural appreciation growing or staying the same or struggling?
I myself, I see it growing. A lot of my artwork, like if I'm going to a show or something, I can take a digital photograph of it and pass it on to wherever I'm applying for, and they can look at it as a jury group and decide whether or not they want, different artists in their shows. So I see it growing.
Do you see these art forms as a means of retaining youth in the local culture, local community? Because I understand young families often have to move away for jobs and such.
Actually, I do. If they're serious enough, yes, they can. They can use the digital age to put their artwork on the website, and if they're willing to sell and be actively into it, yes.
So those that are ready to take it seriously and work hard, there are some new ways to market their art beyond the community and to remain in this sovereign island paradise called Metlakatla.
Oh, yeah. I think if I wasn't working full-time, I probably would pursue that. But
Okay.
right now, it's a hobby for me. That's why I don't actively go out and pursue that part.
Okay. What advice would you give to the current generation as far as what they should value and respect most in 2011?
In 2001, listen to the elders, and they have a lot to say, and you can learn a lot. You know. I've learned a lot underneath my mom, my dad.
What's your perception of the importance of this potlatch that's taking place tomorrow?
I think it shows respect for the family as well as the community. I love hearing the drums, you know, and I think it'll teach the younger generation how to respect their culture and look for ways to retain it.
So even with all this digital technology and this modern age, culture is being rediscovered and treasured and valued in a way that it wasn't even for the last generation when Christianity prohibited cultural expression. So we're seeing something of a cultural resurgence, and web pages and digital photography can help support that in your view.
Yes, I think it can.
Well, I appreciate your comments. Do you have any final advice for the current generation?
No, just, like I said before, listen to the elders, you know, they have a lot to offer.
And respect and prize who you are
Yes,
and
always
where you remember where you came from.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Vivian. There you go. Metlakatla Indian Community in 2011. Thank you.